Okay, guys, we are live on YouTube. I think, yes, we're starting the live stream. It's Wednesday at 3 p.m. Eastern Time. And if you don't already know me, my name is Heather of Heather Boyd Wire. And Wednesdays we do troubleshooting of new designs out of wire for wire art and jewelry. Hey Clarice, how are you? Awesome, you're the first one on. And today we have a special request from Sally. So I'm hoping Sally's going to hop on the live stream. I'm not quite sure of her username on YouTube. There is a bit of a delay with the video, but I'm going to just keep it up like that and hopefully be able to follow your comments and not miss any of them. I'm just going to try to make my screen a little bit bigger and then we're going to be good to go. So let me just see. Yeah, we have some comments coming up. There's a little bit of a delay. And today I'm going to be using this wire, which is a thicker aluminum wire that I bought on Etsy. So I'll link up below where I bought this wire. And it's very, very soft, but it's interesting because it's flexible. And the aluminum wire is good because it doesn't tarnish. And yeah, I really like the aluminum wire. I'm just going to kind of fiddle around with some of these. My dock is on the bottom there, so I'm going to move it to the side so it's not in the way, and then make the screen a little bit bigger so I can see all your comments. There we go. So Janice is hopping on, and Joyce and Peggy. Awesome. Fantastic, guys. So what I'm going to do to start is it's a funny setup that I have doing it this way where I'm like head on with you guys. And the only reason I'm doing this is because for the last couple of weeks I've been doing bigger projects. So if I put the camera over top, it's going to be way too close. And I'm not going to be able to move my hands around a lot. Can you add a link to the wire? I'll definitely add a link to the wire on the replay of the video because right now I can't really access it. But I'll definitely put in the link to the video. I'm going to underneath the video on the replay. I'll put it. So guys, I just wanted to show you. I did a quick search on Google for ideas for figures with guitars. So I'm going to hold this up to the screen. Like I said, there's a delay, so I'm going to wait till it pops up so I know how close to show this. And I've already have an idea in my head of what I'm going to do, but there's some pretty cool images on uh, Google for guitar playing cowboys. So here's one. This one's super cool, just kind of like free form. This is really awesome. So let me just kind of, I'm gonna see what I'm doing here. Did I get, oh yeah, here's another one. So the next one is made with bolts, and I believe that it is soldered. So it's like a soldered sculpture with screws and bolts and stuff. These I've seen before. These are really cute. So this is a cool idea. And then, hey Jill, we're going to be making a guitar playing cowboy today. So here's the next one. This one's made with wire. This is really, it's really weird doing this because there's such a delay with these, so I can't exactly see what I'm doing. But here we go. So here's a guitar playing, well, he's not a cowboy, he doesn't have a hat, but there's another idea for a wire sculpture. This one's cute. He's on a stool. And then this one is just the guitar, so that's, that's something that's doable as well. And these are all ideas for Sally because she requested me to show her how to do a guitar playing a cowboy. And then, is that it? And there's another one with the bolts. So these are all some really cool images. If you just Google guitar playing cowboy wire, then I came up with all these images. This one's super cute too. So these ones like this might be soldered a little bit as well. So some of them you're a little restricted with. So, and Peggy says, my brother is a guitar player and his birthday was yesterday. That's so ironic. That's really funny. So what I thought I'd do is, honestly, guys, I don't have high hopes for this because I'm going to do what I can. We're just going to play around with it. I don't want to make it too big either. But Sally had seen, I think it was her that had seen some figures in our Etsy shop because my husband actually makes little wire figures, and we transform them into musicians and sports players and put them on bicycles. And that's his own unique design. So I'm not going to teach you guys how to do his design, but I will do a more stylized version of it. and see what we can come up with. So let's see what we can do. So I'm just going to cut like a big long piece. In the off chance I run out of wire, I can just I can add wire to it. I think for the sample I'm not going to worry too much about it. And so, oh, and okay, so Sally is here. So Sally, your username is Betty. There we go. So Sally, we're going to do what we can. Did you see the pictures that I flashed by on the, if not, you can see them on the replay. And so what I'm going to do is just try to do a basic wire figure and then add the guitar. And if we need to add wire, we will. So his favorite is the flying V style. Not sure what that is. Melissa, hey Melissa. And Kelly says hi. So hey everybody. So let me just see what I can do. So usually when I do a figure, I just start with the head. So here's the thick wire. It's like a 1.5 millimeter aluminum. So if you start and you put it like on a right angle like that, you can either do the hat now or you can do the hat later. I'm trying to think of the easiest way to do it. When I do my little figures for the wedding cake toppers, I'll add like a little top hat after. But another way I've done it is when I've done it with a like the silhouette style, I put the hat on at the same time because sometimes you don't want to add too much wire. So if you just do a loop, so you have two possibilities. One would be to do the hat after, and one would be to do it at this time. So let me go ahead and try a hat now. And if it doesn't work, well, we'll know for next time. So the idea would be is you just would continue the loop there. And then if we just do it, I have to remember how I did it. So if we just bend this across and then maybe flip it up a bit. It might be better to do the hat after, but I'm just going to see what I could do. This is going to be very stylized. So if I just go like that, and probably it'd be better to like get a picture of a cowboy hat, but then you could kind of do like a silhouette thing. So I don't know if you guys can see, but I'm just kind of bending it like that. And then we're just going to go out. This one's going to be like super simple, just to get the idea down, right? So we're going to go in like that. We bring it to the other side. So you can see it's sort of coming along, very stylized. And then if we go like that, and then we're just going to bring it down here. It's so funny. I know I say like that all the time. And the reason I know it, I mean, I'm aware of it now. Someone commented it on one of my videos, but I also have started putting subtitles on my videos, and I cut the video every time I cut the text where it says like that. And and all those little, expressions that we say and we're not aware of. So this is kind of cool. It's like a little cowboy with a cowboy hat. So let me just see. Sally B, excited to see what you come up with, and changed it to my real name. Okay, well, we'll watch on the replay. Got it. Okay, so let's just go like this, and then we're going to just bend it around the neck. Okay, we're going to bend it around the neck. And we're going to bend these out to the side. So usually how I do the figure is I would start with the head and then bring these out to the side. So I'm not sure how long we want the arms to be, but I think I'm going to, let me just get a ruler, and I'm just going to, so we have a measurement. Okay, there we go. So I have a ruler, it's going to be easier, and I'll just measure just to have an idea so you guys can have a ballpark. So if I measure it out, because we're going to twist it as well. So if I measure this out 3.5 inches, and what I want to do is get my round pliers, and we're going to just make very stylized, whoops, there goes some pliers, very stylized hands. So I'm just going to bend this in, okay, and hopefully my hands aren't going to go off screen. I'm going to do my best to stay in front of the screen here. So if we do like a little kind of a loop thing, okay, we're going to do this. These wires are really long. They're probably too long. And then I'm just going to hold it like that and then do a twist. Because what I was thinking is we could just do kind of like my twisted figure thing and see if that's going to work. We might have to add wire to it after, but if we just twist it, okay, This is really experimental because I haven't done anything like this before. So if we have like one arm's twisted like that, and then we're going to go the other side, same thing, we're going to measure 3.5 so it's even on both sides. And the fun thing about this is you're going to be able to take the concept of what I'm doing and then just make it your own, just do your own thing with it. So as long as you have sort of a basic idea for the shape, I was even thinking it would be cool to do something like this and then add fabric to it, like to add actual clothing to it might be cool as well, because I used to do a lot of sewing and mixed media stuff, and so it would be really cool if you did. I know there's other people online that do things like that too, so you do like a wire sculpture and then you add on some fabric to make the clothing, which would be really cute. Maybe I can link up some designs like that in the Facebook group, in the Wire Art and Jewelry Makers Club. That would be cool. Now these are super long, so you know what I'm going to do, because already I know they're way too long. I'm going to cut a little bit. When you find you've cut your wire too long, you can go ahead and trim it. So, oh, let me just come here. Carrie says, not even halfway done, and I absolutely love it. Oh, that's so sweet. Well, I'm hoping it's going to work out. So we've got the arms, and then you want to bring this in enough so it's, you know, the body's not too large, not too wide, not too thin. So here we go. So there we have just sort of the basic shape around there. And then it's just to decide what we want to do with the body. I might keep it simple and then go back into it after. Like, you don't want it too complicated. I kind of like that design where it's really like looped around, but I think for now, maybe what I'm going to just try to do, I might just go down and do the legs first and then work my way back up. So let's see how tall it should be. If I do, say, 6 inches, I'm going to bring that around and do about 6 inches. And then there's still going to be enough for the feet, I think. So let's just bend that. Okay, about 6 inches. And then the other one we want to do the same. Okay, so we'll do the other one the same, about 6 inches. Perfect. And then we're just going to, with our round pliers, bring this in. Make the feet a decent size. Okay, we're going to bring this in. Okay, so we have just like the 2 legs like that, and spread it a bit. So then we could go back and twist it the same way how we did the arms, and just hold it and twist it. Sometimes it's hard to get an even twist, but we'll do what we can to get an even twist. This wire is really super soft, so this is actually an excellent wire to practice on. The legs might be too short, but that's okay. So yeah, I'll definitely link up. I bought this wire on Etsy, so I will link up the shop. I'll have to dig back in my supplies, my purchases, because I'm pretty sure I bought it a few years ago. So I'll have to find out who the supplier was. It's hard choosing, you know, shops to buy from on Etsy because some of the quality is not great. Some of the wires I buy are way too soft. This is why I'm using this one to practice, because it's not the best wire. It was I found it a little too soft for what we were doing, but it's not too bad. So this is kind of cool. He's going to be like super skinny, but like I said, you could build it up with more wire or with fabric. So this is how he looks so far. Hopefully my hands are still in the screen. And then what we want to do is build up the body a little bit. So if we kind of take one of these and let's bring it around to here. So let's just keep it simple. I'm going to leave that wire at the side. I want to keep the body a little bit wide, so I'm going to just twist it around here, okay, to make and do a complete circle around here. And I might be missing comments. So sorry guys, let me just see. Did you have okay. I think I'm missing a whole bunch of comments. Sorry about this. I sew is my main thing, and I'm learning wire craft. Okay, cool. So the idea for clothes is awesome. Yes. Well, Sally, if you do make something with this, if any of you guys make any of these, please share pictures in the Wire Art and Jewelry Makers Club, or if you don't have Facebook, send pictures to me and I can share them in the community section so everybody can see what you're doing. So yeah, so here's our basic little guy, which is super cute. So at this point, you definitely could add clothing. You could twist more wire around. So I think what I'm going to do is fill out the body a little bit, and like similar to what the other sculpture looked like, where they just loosely wind it around. And then this gives it a little bit of volume, a little bit of bulk. And my wire isn't as long as maybe it should have been, but what I can do is I can even add another wire here. So see, I've twisted it around to make like a little spiral. So let's just go ahead and see where it's going to be the best place to, we'll poke my eye out. That's not a good idea. So I'm just going to maybe just bend it around here. It's always interesting figuring out where you should actually bend these things. Okay, so yeah, it would be fun to add fabric, eh? So I don't know if I'll be able to do that today, but I might go back into it and add some fabric. So see, what I've done is I've added a little bit of twisty to give it some volume. And then because I have another wire here, we could even go in and add a little more. Like you say, there wasn't enough. We can add more, and then you could go even cut more wire and add more wire after if you wanted to. But this is kind of cool. It's filling it in a little bit, and then we'll just, end this one on this side. So it's a little, so you have one end on one side and one end on the other. That's cool. So let's go ahead and do that, and then bring that end around. There we go. And okay, so we have our little basic guy, and for the head you might have to bend it after so it actually shows. So here's our first point, and then we want to bend the arms down a bit in the position that he's going to be holding the guitar. So if he's put the arms down, one arm is going to go mine up, and then the other arm is going to kind of bend down. So this is our starting point. And then for the feet, I'm going to just take the feet and bend them out on a right angle. And my idea for this was, rather than have it standing on a frame, I have a few little things. I have a block. It could be cool to stand them on a block. Hopefully you guys can see that. Or I have driftwood. I thought it might be cool to like put them on some driftwood, something like that. And a more fancy driftwood, which might be a little trickier to do. And I have little screws that I'm going to attach it with. Or I have this round one like this. So in the comments, can you guys tell me which base you like better? Like this round one, the driftwood, or the square one? Just let me know which one you like the best. The gauge wire is about 1.5 millimeters. So in gauges, I think it's about a 14 gauge. I could check that and then I'll put it in the comments as well. Okay, so now what we want to do is you guys decide. Sally likes the driftwood. Okay, driftwood. Okay, let's do it, guys. That's awesome. And this would be fun because if you go on a trip and you pick up some driftwood, it would be super cool. I love how it's a consensus. Eh? That's fantastic. And I actually went down to my basement to find some wood pieces, and I just happened across the driftwood, which was super lucky because I hadn't imagined using that. So what you could do is get little tiny screws, okay? And because if you glue it, it's not going to work too well. And you could wind wire around it, but I kind of like the idea of doing it with the driftwood because it would be more, how would you say, it would be less distracting with the wire wound around the wood. And also, if you wind wire around the wood, I'm just pinching these in a bit so they're going to stay. If you wind the wire around the wood, it's going to make it a little bit uneven too. So ideally, I probably should have thicker driftwood because my screws might not work so well. Sally says, I'll pop down to the beach. Oh, lucky. You have a beach you could pop down to? That's awesome. Actually, we're near the river, so I bet I might be able to find some driftwood. But this piece of driftwood I actually got in New Brunswick last year, so that was really cool. So and now I'm thinking maybe what I should do is bend the legs a bit because sometimes too when they're too straight, they look a little funny. So let's give them a little bit of movement. Okay, we're just going to give them a little bit of movement here. And I'm going to put in, I don't know if you guys can see what I'm doing, but here, I'm going to just show you. If I put the foot on here and then put a screw on top, I'm going to screw it in. I'm really worried the wood might snap just because it's not a very thick piece of wood. So keep that in mind if you're going to get some wood. Whoops. If you're going to get some wood to make sure it's a little thicker than this. This one, I just, randomly brought a couple of pieces back with me. I don't know if you guys saw, but maybe if I bring this down a bit, you might be able to see what I'm doing. If I move, I'm just going to move the screen down a bit, so maybe that will work. I wish there wasn't such a delay on the video because I can't. Oh, there we go. Bring it down a bit. Yeah. So if I bring this over here, you guys should be able to see what I'm doing. And I'm just going to screw it. Put the screw in there. If the screw is too long, something that I've done in the past is I've screwed it in part way, and then I've removed it, and then I've clipped the ends. So that's something you can do too. If your screw is too long, you could screw it in part way just to get the hole started, and then pull it back, and then clip the ends. So that's not too bad. See, I've just put that one in there, and then let's put one in over here as well. Oh God, he's so cute. Oh my God, you guys are amazing, giving me all these ideas. Like, I would have never thought to do something like this, but this is super fun. And so now I'm gonna screw in this side. And Sally says, I live in Gibraltar. That is awesome. That is so cool. Is that, now, excuse my ignorance, is that the same as the Rock of Gibraltar? Because I went to Europe a few years ago, and we went to the Rock of Gibraltar, and I remember I picked up a whole bunch of pieces of stones from the Rock of Gibraltar, and that was, when I travel, I don't buy souvenirs. I always make my own souvenirs. So for that trip, I brought back probably about a dozen little pieces of stone from the Rock of Gibraltar, and I wrapped them, and I gave everybody a necklace with a wrapped stone from the Rock of Gibraltar, and of course representing strength and all that type of thing. So that was my souvenir that year from my friends, was pieces of the Rock of Gibraltar, which was super cool. So guys, it's on there. I don't know if you could see. So that's cool. So you're liking my cowboy. That's awesome. Maybe if I move it up a little bit, I'm thinking maybe I should just keep the screen down like this so you guys can see what I'm doing. I'll move it up a little bit. And so here's our guy, but now what we need is I'm just gonna pull it back a little bit so we can kind of, might have to move it down a bit more. Oh gosh, there's such a delay on this. It's really frustrating, but we're gonna go like that. So now what I wanna do is make a guitar. So I had told Sally that there is a DIY tutorial on my channel on how to make a guitar with the jig, the artistic wire jig. So that's definitely something that you can do, is make it in that style. And that one had, I believe it had some beads on it, but let's go ahead. Let me move this guy over a little bit. And I'm just seeing what's in the way of my things here. So I'll move them over a little bit, and then I'm going to do the guitar. So what we want to do is just take the wire. Okay, we're going to take the wire, and then I want to get my other pliers. And usually how I do the guitar is I start with the middle hole, like the where the sound comes out. Or, I don't know, I guess that's where the sound comes out. So what I'm going to do is just take my pliers, bend it, and then I want a round part in the middle. So if I just get a round form, could be a pen, could be my pliers. Let me just see what I have here. I'll just try with the pliers for now. I think it's not big enough, but so we're gonna go around here. So this is how I do the guitar when I make it. So we just start with the circle, and I'm just going to bring the guy to make sure it's going to be about the right size. Yeah, maybe it has to be a little bit bigger. So I'll just make my circle a little bit bigger here. Okay, we're going to go around here. And then what I usually do is I just take this and I wind it about 5 or 6 times. We're just going to go around. Okay, wind it around. Well, you could make a very tight spiral, like a very tight coil, or you could make it like these further apart, but you can do them quite tightly together as well. But just because I don't want to run out of wire, I'm going to do them a little bit more loosely. So if I hold this up here, I have to imagine how big I need the guitar, because this is going to be the hard part, is deciding how big to make him. So now if these are too wide apart, we can push them in a little bit more. Okay, we're going to just push them in a little bit more. Okay, and I'm probably missing your comments, guys. I'm really sorry about that. So it says, yes, it's the Rock of Gibraltar. Awesome, it's natural Jurassic limestone. Yes, I'm going to see if I still have one of those rocks of Gibraltar, and I'll put it in the community section and also on the Facebook page, because that was a really cool souvenir. People really appreciated it because it's very symbolic. Okay, the Rock of Gibraltar. I'd heard about it for years, so I was pretty impressed. I should have got more. So to make the guitar, I'm just going to make sure it's going to be around the right size. I think this should be good. So what we want to do is once we've done the outside, and this is probably something you could do on the jig. Like if you look at that other video I did about how to make the guitar on the jig, you could probably use the same concept and either do it with the beads or without. So I'm just free-forming it, but sometimes if you're not used to doing that, if you have a jig, or if you draw it, or if you print out a picture of it first, you can. And I know I do sell the templates for the artistic wire jig designs, but also if you watch the video, you can just simply screenshot the configuration that I have, and then you can just go by that. See, I'm really like playing around with it because I'm not exactly sure of the right size. Like this is looking like it might be a little bit too small, so maybe just here, if you're not sure, look, like if you make a total mistake, just straighten it out again. It's no big deal. Okay, so we're going to do that. Okay, so we're just going to go back. Sometimes when you overthink it, then it's just like, it doesn't work. So let's just not overthink it. Let's just do it faster and see what we can do. So we're going to go around like that, and this maybe is a better size. Okay, so I'm going to measure it. Yeah, I think that's better. Whoa. Yeah, it's terrible how sometimes you overthink things and then they just don't work out how you want. So let's just go for it. Okay, and if it's not perfect, it doesn't matter. It's art, right? So here we go. So we're doing the outline of the guitar. And like I said, if you need a template, or if you want to trace a drawing or anything, sometimes it's easier if you draw things out on a graph paper first. You can do that because that sometimes makes it easier. This one, I'm going to just fix this up a little bit. It's a little bit wide at the top. So yeah, you could definitely go in and adjust it. Okay, so here's what I have so far with the guitar. I'm going to make sure my hands are okay in the screen here. I think they should be okay. So this is what we have so far. And then we want to just twist the rest of it. Okay, so we're just going to go and twist this. And I guess in theory, if you wanted it more three-dimensional, I'm going to try it. I've never done it really, but if you wanted it more three-dimensional, go ahead and take this and then retrace what you've done there, and then it's going to be even more, especially for, here, let me move this up a little bit, especially for sculptures, you might want it more 3D. So let's just go ahead and trace that whole thing again, and it's going to be like a double wire. So that might be interesting to have like a double wire to make it more 3D looking. So let's just go ahead and trace that whole thing again. And it's good to experiment with this and see. So we're gonna just go like that. And another thing you could do with these wire figures is, say you found a little mini wooden guitar, like, I don't know, from a toy or something, or a little miniature one. You could buy a little miniature guitar and then make your wire figure and stick it on top. That would be cool too. So we've done our double guitar, and now we're gonna take this and just wind it all the way up in the same way that we did the middle part. So however long you think it's going to have to be, try to keep your winds a little bit consistent, and then that way they almost look like the frets of the guitar. So we're just going to go around and around and around. Okay, and around. I wish you guys could like talk to me, like not just in the comments, but we could have like a group chat going on, because it would be much easier for me to keep track of what's going on. So what I did here, guys, is I think I'm going to go ahead and just leave this one wire so we can wind it around. And now what we're going to do is just do the end of the guitar. So say we just decide to end it here. Let me just see some of the comments. Okay, send me one on a jig. Okay, cool. Loved hammering it. Oh, cool. You hammered the guitar. Neat. And Daphne says that would look awesome with a weave around the guitar. Now that would be next level. If you guys do like the guitar and do wire weaving, that would be super cool. I would love that. So let's go ahead and just do the end of the guitar. Okay, like the little end here. So maybe what I'll do is I'm just going to clip one end. Here, I'll just cut one wire, because you only really need one wire to twist around the hand. So see, this is how our guitar looks like this. And then I'm going to go ahead and just bring this wire down, backtrack it a little bit here, okay? So what we want to do is put one end of the wire in his hand, okay? So I'm going to bring this down a little bit so we can see what I'm working on with the guy to add this to the little guy. So here's our guy. I'm just going to make sure I could see what you guys see. Yeah, so we've just moved it down a little bit. And then we want to take the hand and bend it up a little bit, right? See this hand here? We're going to bend it up a little bit. And we're going to bring, yeah, see how the guitar is like this? So this wire here, it's too long now, but we can take this wire and stick it through the guy's hand, okay? We're going to stick it through the guy's hand, and that way it'll stay in place. So you could even add an extra wire to do this, but I try to be as efficient as possible and just use the same wire. So we're going to stick that around, and then if it's too wiggly, just take it and twist it around the wrist a little bit, and that will really secure it in place, because you don't want it wiggling around. Okay, so now it's like super solid. That's not going anywhere. So we're going to clip that. Okay, we're going to clip that one off. And then we're going to push it in a way that he looks like he's playing. So we're going to flip the guitar under that arm. And then now we're going to adjust it. So let me twist it so it's facing me so I could see what he's doing. And I think it'd be nice if we just bent his head a little to the side. So otherwise, when you see it straight on, you're not going to really see the hat very well. But if we do it this way, and then so we have, I think one arm has to go down. You could look at pictures on Google of guys playing guitars or girls playing guitars to see about the actual like positioning and that type of thing. And this wire in the middle, you could play around with it. And now then we're going to just hold this in a way, and then we want this arm to be looking like it's stringing the wire. And the other thing I totally forgot that I usually do is I usually do strings down here. That's why I had the extra wire, because usually what I would do is go down. I can do that. I'm going to back it up, guys, so you guys can see what I mean. So what I'm going to do is back this up. Let me remove this, because we can go back to this after. Totally forgot about the strings, because that makes all the difference. So what I would do is add strings, but you know what? Because I made the mistake anyways and forgot them, why don't we put them in a different color? So let me see what I have here. I'm just gonna go for this. I have some gold wire, so let me get the gold wire. I have all my wires behind me, so let me just see. Here's some gold wire. And I'm going to do gold for the strings, just so a couple reasons. One is I ran out of wire, and the other thing is just to show you guys how it looks with the strings. So let's go ahead. Okay, and so Sally said my hubby's also a guitarist. I will get him to pose. Perfect. There we go. So what I want to do now is, okay, I'm going to pull this wire back. So what I would want to do is add the gold wire. So let's start at the top, I guess, or we could start here. You know, we could start at the bottom. So I'm going to just take this gold wire and just wind it in the bottom here. In fact, I know the strings don't go all the way to the bottom, I don't think, but this is where you improvise. This is where you kind of, you know, decide how you want it to look, what you want to do. You can maybe add the strings in a different way, but for these purposes, like usually when I do a guitar, I'm pretty sure I do it this way, where they're right to the bottom. So let's go ahead and do that. I'm gonna bend that in. So, and it's kind of fun having them a different color. So let's go ahead. We want to make sure they're nice and straight. Okay. And then we're going to bring them up. See, like that? That looks better. Then we're going to bring them up to the top. And, okay, I'm going to leave this one here. And then just wind them around the top. So just, let's take one and just wind it around. No real rhyme or reason. Okay. And then the other one, we're going to bring that one up. Okay. Here, and then we're going to wind it to the other side. So there we go, just to get them to hold in place. Okay, so, and then they're going to wiggle around a little bit, but once the sculpture's all made and standing in one place, you're not going to have to worry about them wiggling around out of place. So, and sometimes they get a little bent. This wire I'm using is very soft, so for sure we're going to have some trouble with it, like getting warped and stuff, but it's okay. So, oh, that's much better with the strings. That's super cool. So let's put it back in the guitar player's hand. Okay, we're going to bring this down. So same thing. We're going to put it back in the hand. Bring this back in here. I'm envisioning it'd be cute with a little, I don't know if he had a little bandana around his neck too. You guys that are doing fabric stuff, you could definitely go to town with this design. I think there's a lot that can be done. So that's super cool. So let's just bring this one down in here. And then we're going to wind that again around the hand. I think we might be running out of wire here. But we're going to bring that down. Oops. Okay, let me just figure this one out because I wanted this. Okay, you know what I'm going to do? Okay, I'm going to take this one out because this wire ended up being, I'm going to try it where, okay, I'm going to finish it at the top. Okay, and then I'm going to add another separate wire to attach it to the hand. So here's just the guitar like that. That's kind of cool. And then let's just get another piece of wire to attach it. I'm just going to get a thin piece of aluminum wire to attach it into his hand. So let's go ahead and do that. We're just going to like take the guitar and wind it around a couple of times. Now I see the video's buffering, so I hope that you guys can still see me. Okay, and then I'm going to bring that in here. And then let's just attach it. We're going to attach it with a separate thinner wire. I think that's going to work too. So we're going to just do that. Attach it with a separate thinner wire. And then that way it's not too bulky with the thick wire. So we're just going to do that. Okay, and then we're going to do this one here. Okay, we're just going to make sure that's in place. Okay, it should be good. Okay, we're just going to attach that with a thinner wire because it's always, you know, it's always good to have like some thin wire, either 20 gauge wire or 24 gauge wire that you can attach it with. Okay, guys, so let's do our finishing touches. We've attached it. It's got the strings, and then you could even, you know, have him like the legs in different positions and all that. I'm just going to move this up a bit. So, and then let's put his head to the side a little bit so we can see what he's doing. And it's going to be like that. So really the sky is the limit with this. And there we go. There's our little guy. So let me just, here, I'm going to bring that up. I'm going to get a piece of white paper that we can put behind him to see him. Okay, this is going to move up a little bit. I think the screen, oh my, the screen looks like it's frozen. We're buffering video output low. Oh, you know what? It's my, wait. It's my computer is going to die. That's why. Let me plug it in. Hang on. There. Woo. Yeah, I think we're good. Are we better, guys? I had to plug in my computer. Wow. Let me just see. Can you guys still see me? Let me know if you can still see me in the comments. I think that was the problem. My battery was down, and so that's why we had trouble. I think it says still video output low. Anyways, guys, let me hold this up so you can see it. Let me just move this down. Okay. And I'm going to move this down so we can see it. Perfect. Okay. So let's bring this up here, and hopefully you can see it. I'm going to bring it up a little bit, and so everybody, okay, slow motion. Yeah, that was it. So that was my fault. That was the battery. I should have thought to plug it in. The video output's still a little low, but it's a little better. So Melissa says, love it. Carrie says, your talent still amazes me. Oh, you're so sweet. And the Cowboy is awesome too. So here he is. So thank you, Sally, so much for the suggestion to do this guitar playing Cowboy. He was really fun to do. I can't wait to see if you guys end up doing some with the adding fabric and stuff to it. So let me just try to twist him around so you could get an idea of the whole thing, of how he looks. So he's just screwed onto that driftwood there, which is really fun. And Sally says it's just brilliant. Yay! Awesome. And yeah, you guys always inspire me. So if you have other ideas, let me know. You could do this design with any kind of instrument, any kind of like sports, all kinds of things I can envision in many different ways. If you want ideas, you can look in. We have an Etsy shop at the Wire, Heather Boyd Wire, and you'll see we do all kinds of musicians, people riding bikes, all kinds of different things. So that might inspire you for different custom gifts that you could make. And so I'm going to just remove that, and I'm going to say thank you everybody so much for watching, and we'll definitely see you next time. The replay is going to be up. I'll put where I got all my wires and stuff like that. And if you do make these, please share pictures in the Facebook group or email to info@heatherboydwire.com, and that would be amazing to see what you make. So I'm going to say goodbye for now, and I will definitely see you guys a regular video on Saturday. Sorry, I'm getting confused. It's Canadian Thanksgiving. We'll be out of town, but I'll definitely put up a video, and we will see you guys soon.